Hi everyone, I'm Sandra Mom.
I'm Ben Son.
Good to see you all. Today we thought we'd do something different. We got a question on YouTube and we sat down. The question was to Ben, and as we were discussing the answer, we thought, well, this would be a good video because there was a lot of information, right?
Oh yeah.
So the question was, Ben, I'm curious if you experienced denial to your addiction and how you overcame that. Did you have a rock bottom? So, Ben, were you in denial? Like, can you talk about
I can
that?
say when I was doing drugs, I definitely was in denial. 100% I was in denial. I had no idea I had a problem. When I was using, I thought I had control of what I was doing. I thought I was the one saying when I could do drugs, how often, how much. I thought I was doing it whenever I felt was normal or whatever. I didn't see a problem in it.
Yeah, you were coping and you thought you had it under control?
Yeah, I thought I didn't have any problem.
Okay, well, how did you overcome it?
Well, when I had to overcome it, I finally had to realize one day that I wasn't perfect. I had to admit that maybe I do have a problem because I'm using every day. I was really skinny. I was losing weight and stuff, and lots of stuff overdosing all constantly. And
so let's skip over to rock bottom. Do you feel that you had a rock bottom?
Well, it's kind of hard to say rock bottom. Rock bottom is like everybody's quotation, like, oh, you hit rock bottom or you're going to stop doing drugs. Well, my rock bottom, I've had more than one. And I never considered having a rock bottom because when I was in the rock bottom, so to speak, I didn't even know I was in it because I was denial. It was denial. I denied that I was in rock bottom. I denied that I was dying, flatlining constantly. I denied being blind or paralyzed. I was denied being so low on energy that my body's like shutting down on me from binging for days and not eating and walking a lot. And
so I know for me watching, I kept waiting for that rock bottom for Ben to hit so that he could say whoa, that was really scary, I'm done. But what I'm hearing is, Ben, you had more than one rock bottom. You could look now because you're clear.
Yeah, now that I'm sober, I realize I had rock bottoms. When I was in the middle of it, I had no idea I was doing rock bottom. I had no idea what a rock bottom was. I thought, oh, I don't think it's that bad right now. What's rock bottom? I'm clearly not at it, so I don't need to stop. When really I kind of was at rock bottom. I was flatlining and everything,
Well, and I know one incident in particular, you were actually blinded, you couldn't see.
Yeah.
And I remember, to me, I'm thinking, wow, this is scary, rock bottom. But I know that you were pissed off that they called the ambulance, the people that were with you. Because every time somebody called the ambulance,
I just get mad and I'd be frustrated. I'd be like, I'm perfectly fine. I don't need help. I don't need the ambulance. And when really I did. And now that I'm sober, I'm grateful they called the ambulance so many times.
Right.
Because if they didn't, I'd possibly be blind or dead.
Yeah.
Or worse, paralyzed. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows where I'd be right now.
Right. So, would it be fair to say you had a number of the rock bottoms?
I've had a number of rock bottoms.
So
a whole lot of them. And I never knew I was in it. That's the thing. I never knew that I was in rock bottom. That's why it was so dangerous.
And I just want to say, because everything that I've learned about addiction, and Ben, you could also comment on this, what I've learned and what I say to Ben is there's that addiction monster that hijacks the brain. It is a disease and it hijacks the brain. So I was saying to Ben, I've always loved you even during the whole addiction because I knew that there was you and then there was the addiction monster. And so that addiction monster is saying, oh, you're okay. You could handle this. A little bit more, a little bit more.
You recover every time. What's it?
Yeah, you're okay. Wouldn't you say that it's looking back, you see how ridiculous it is that you went through all that.
It's ridiculous how I was denying everything. I was denying everything. I thought there was no problem with me. I thought, I'm just using a little bit of drugs. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not running around hurting people.
Right.
I was just chilling with some people doing drugs, and I thought that was perfectly fine. I tried to do my daily stuff, not every day I'd eat, but I'd try to eat when I could. Yeah. I'd have showers, I'd brush my teeth, I'd do regular daily stuff. And that's why I thought I was fine. That's why I justified in my mind that it was okay to do what I was doing, when really I was just killing myself slowly.
Right, because You had a number of overdoses, sometimes 3 in one day.
Yeah, I'd be in the hospital 2-3 times in one day.
You were blind at one point. You were paralyzed at another point. Like you,
I was weak from not having enough energy from not eating and walking basically marathon or 2 in like a couple of days of constant walking everywhere and binging. And
yeah. So
I've had a number of rock bottoms. Now that I think back to it, I've had lots of rock bottoms.
I am so grateful because, you know, we always say where there's breath, there's hope.
This is where it comes from.
This is exactly where it comes from.
There's breath, there's hope. I thought honestly, when I was doing drugs, I was going to do drugs till the day I died. I thought there was no coming out of it. There was no coming back to old life before drugs. There's no getting back.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're back. Amen. I know you were saying how grateful you are to be alive.
Yeah. Now I can have I have more than a second chance, but I have technically a second chance to, another chance to restart my life and do things, you know, like
so
have a family and all that. And
living in gratitude. I think gratitude is the
everything.
attitude, right?
Gratitude's the attitude.
And I know you were saying you're grateful that the people called the ambulance every single time.
I used to hate them for it, but now I realize I'm thankful now.
You're grateful that you've survived. Like, amen, we used to joke, you know, you were like 6 cats. You know, you have more than 9 lives.
Yeah.
You know, and grateful that people didn't give up on you. You know, like people, like I know for me, Ben, I never gave up because I knew that you were in there. Like, you know, I just wanted to get rid of that addiction monster and get my Ben back. And I feel like Ben is back. Yay! So, the rock bottom, it's an interesting one because there is no definite rock bottom. Everybody's rock bottom is different. I know I used to pray for Ben's rock bottom, and looking back now, there were a number of them, and that's what it took for you, right? That's what it took. You have
to realize that you're at rock bottom for it to be rock bottom.
Yeah.
You could technically be at rock bottom, but not think of that as rock bottom.
Yeah.
And it's not rock bottom because you don't think it is.
Yeah.
You could die and not even realize you've hit rock bottom. It's because you could just be in denial until death.
Yeah.
You have to admit that you have rock bottom. You have to admit that you have that problem like I had. I had to admit it. That's what I had to do. I had to admit that I had a problem and admit that I was at rock bottom, you know? And
that your life was no longer manageable. No. You wanted to take control. And that's where we're at now. You're well over 3 months clean.
Yeah.
Yay! So we're going to just keep on rocking. And if you have any questions, we'll be happy to try to answer them.
Yeah.
So to the person that asked that question, thank you. It gave us a lot to talk about. And that's why we're doing this, because it helps us to actually reflect and move forward and have these conversations.
Yeah.
So where there is breath,
there is hope.
Yes. So, okay. And peace.
Peace and
Take
love.
care, everybody.